Oh, sugar honey iced tea. It's the EAC Show.
Good day, ladies and gents. I'm Emilio A. Colon.
And I am Marcus Mack, and this is the EAC Show coming to you live from sunny South Florida with episode 55.
Joining us on episode 55, we got Under Armour representative, Florida Gator alum, and San Francisco Giants pitcher, Shaun Anderson. Shaun, we appreciate you being on the show, man. Appreciate you having me on the show, man.
Yeah, Emilio, Marcus, I appreciate you guys having me on here.
How's everything going, man? How you holding up with this whole crazy COVID-19 situation? You know, tell us a little bit about what you had to adjust with this whole situation.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as we found out that they sent us home, they all wanted us to be healthy. You know, end of the day, you got to be healthy. So they said, hey, go home and you'll be with your family. You know, So I came home and I spent time with my family, and I'm healthy, my family's healthy, and that's really all I can ask for right now.
That's what's most important, man. We want everybody out there to make sure that they're healthy and their well-being is safe and everybody's doing well. I know I have the sports questions, and I'm always going to stick to the sports questions. Marcus has the business and the entertainment side of the show. So he has a couple things he wants to ask you, so we're going to just get into those questions right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, my questions are more or less, I guess it's more personal, how you feel about your position right now with the league, this being your second year, because you went to San Francisco, 2019?
Last year in May, yeah.
Right, and you got drafted to the Boston Red Sox in 16, right? Yeah, so, you know, with this whole, it seems like a very big gap with this COVID-19 hitting. This is your second year in the major league, you know, really to kind of to really show and grow yourself as a pitcher. How do you feel at this point right now in your career?
It's a great question. I mean, I feel good. All last year is definitely a really big learning experience. You know, it was a lot of fun. But there were some times where things didn't go the way I wanted them to. So kind of this whole off season when I came home, I really worked on like watching a lot of videos, seeing what I kind of had those mistakes on, what I can improve on, and just talking with kind of the pitching coach on what they want to see from me. So it was kind of like this whole off season, just kind of redefining myself and learning from all these different people on how I could change and myself. And then we come into spring training, you know, I'm feeling good and everything's happening. And then unfortunately the COVID-19 thing happened, right. You know, so but I mean, I wrote down some notes from spring training, and when I came home, that was my number one goal, was to work on that and make sure I can kind of redefine myself as a pitcher again. And I feel like there's always these learning curves, you know, so I've definitely learned a lot since I came home, and I've still been throwing, still been working out, so there's still room to improve.
Like you've been staying active,
right?
So this pause that you guys are taking right now, it's really more like it's a kind of a good thing. You made it into a positive.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing really else you can do.
I'm
you know,
just about
to say that.
I mean, how are you gonna look at a negative?
Yeah,
you know, so
you can't. Definitely.
So I mean, I see what they're doing. They want us to stay healthy, you know, coming home. They don't want to push us through the season, and then, you know, a bunch of people get hurt, and then their families get hurt. So, but yeah, I mean, taking it in a positive way, like you said, and then just continuing to improve some way.
Listen, the beautiful part about being in sunny South Florida is that we could literally get work in no matter what. So one place might say, nah, you can't do it over here. And then you go like 6 blocks up and they're like, nah, come train. Right, so it's totally different out here. So
big shout outs to Ron DeSantis.
We love Governor DeSantis.
We love you,
because he opens
DeSantis.
up sports in Florida and all types of stuff. So we always shout him out on the show. Now, get a little bit back about to the beginning of your career where you ended up, you know, getting drafted by the Boston Red Sox. You end up getting traded. You know, not too many people know how to handle that. It's kind of difficult for young players. Did you feel like it was like Boston was giving up on you, or did you feel like, you know what, I'm being traded because I'm worth something?
At the end of the day, it's a business, you know, and you got to look at it like a business. And I had no idea I was getting traded. It was my first full season, and I mean, I'm trying to make it in the big leagues as a Red Sox, you know, and I get a call at midnight, and it's from one of my coaches. Said, hey, you've just been traded, but I don't have a lot of information for you. Someone will call you. I'm like, what? You know, it's like I was just playing a game like an hour ago, you know, so. And then the Giants GM, Bobby Evans, called me at the time and congratulated me, and they couldn't have been more excited for me. So that kind of gave me this uplifting. And then, you know, they told me I was going to California. I was going to play for San Jose. And I've never been to California before, but that was somewhere that I really wanted to go. And I was kind of looking forward to it. And I just kind of looked at it as I'm going there to win games and make some friends, you know. So
Did you kind of like use it as a chip on your shoulder a little bit? Did it motivate you a little bit?
I mean, I still wanted to, whatever organization I wanted to be in, I wanted to make it to the big leagues and help them win a championship. You know, the Red Sox will always have a place in my heart for drafting me. You know, and I respect them. But you know, the way the Giants did it was awesome, and I couldn't be happier on where I ended up. So.
Absolutely, without question. So, Marcus, go ahead. I know you have a couple other questions for.
Shaun. Well, you know, here on the EAC show, we really, really love Rob Manfred. We love him. We love you, Mr. Manfred.
So,
hey, Megan.
Listen, if you guys just tuning in for the first time, we are a big players show. We support the players. Just to give you a little bit of background on what Marcus is getting into real quick, just in case it's your first time watching, and we're joined by San Francisco Giants pitcher Shaun Anderson. Marcus and I discussed on the last episode, do we feel like we have the respect of the owners for doing what they think is best in that situation?
Right.
And while we're big on the players, we're always for players, Marcus' answers was...
Yes. Because here's my thing, right? I really respect the business acumen of the owners. I love the fact that you got the players' agents and everybody who's the Players Association. I love the fact that these guys are holding out and they're sticking to their guns.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? But my thing is, especially this is your second year in the major league. The whole thing is I want to play. The whole thing for the fans is I want to see you guys play. Exactly. So our biggest thing has been, what is the holdup with the season? Yeah. Right? How do you feel? You don't have to go into detail, but how do you feel with this whole holdup and this pause right now?
I mean, everyone wants to play, you know, and mentally I'm telling myself I'm ready to play. You know, since I've gotten home, I've been weight training every morning and playing catch and getting my bullpens in, you know, facing hitters, just staying ready till we hear word, you know. That's not up to me on what happens, and that's higher up. But for me, I got to mentally tell myself, hey, you got to be ready whether they call you tomorrow and say, hey, we're playing, or whatever happens for the season. I got to be ready every day, depending on what ends up turning out. So that's been my mindset through this whole thing. So
you hear that right here from Shaun Anderson, pitcher for the San Francisco Giants. Listen, you heard it. He's ready to play. And he's staying ready. By all means, he's using this as a positive. COVID, Rob Manfred, he won't let anything stop him.
Yeah, listen. MLB owners and Rob Manfred, you guys said that you guys know you want to see a season happen and you want to put in 100% effort to make that happen. Well, just do it, because these guys they're ready to go.
They're ready.
They're ready to throw.
The last thing you want to happen is one of these guys to trip over one of their kids' toys at home, and then they're shot
and get hurt without question. Now, Shaun, just recently, you being drafted in 2016, the MLB Draft just literally got cut down because of the whole COVID-19 situation from 40 rounds to 5. That's a big difference. You got many players that have been drafted late round draft picks and are in the major leagues and have made something for themselves. Just to name a few: Mike Piazza, Jacob deGrom, so forth and so on. With that change happening, how do you feel about if that is the new norm going forward, to where it's only going to be 5 or maybe just 20 rounds?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that will be the new norm. You know, I think they're just going off of, some guys didn't even play their high school or college yet, you know, because they only can go off the 10 games or however long they played, you know. So, I mean, it's a sticky situation how everything happened. I mean, no one could have planned COVID, you know. So, I mean, especially with the draft being months away right after COVID hit, you know, they got to kind of scramble together on how they're going to do this, you know, what's fair, what's not fair. And that's not for me to decide, but I mean, I don't know. This is just a crazy thing that happened that people have to adjust to, you know, and everything's about adjustment. So, I mean, whether it came up or not, I don't know. That's an adjustment they had to make. And
can we get your opinion also on the decision on Major League Baseball trying to limit minor league club affiliations too? Because if you really think about it, this is something that they were talking about even before COVID was happening. And what that does is kind of like eliminate jobs from people. How do you feel about that?
I just know from when I got drafted, I went to short season in Lowell, Massachusetts, and it's a small area, but everyone around there loved Lowell. Same thing with Greenville. I got called up and went to Greenville. That's low A, and everybody was packed out at Greenville Drive Stadium, you know, and the fan base that they have, like, that's their city.
So again,
you go to Greenville to see Fluor Field, and you want to see the rising stars from the Red Sox, you know. So personally, I think because there's so many minor league teams, there's so many different cities, like that kind of makes the city, you know. I remember Greenville because I played in Greenville, you know. Anyone that talks about Greenville, oh yeah, I played for the Greenville Drive, you know. So I guess more areas kind of gives the players more time to play, you know. They gives like the city something to live for, you know.
So do you feel, in your opinion, that instead of cutting the affiliations with the minor league teams, making them lower number of teams, do you think that maybe MLB and MILB, which is Major League, you know, minor league baseball, do you think that they should restructure and reorganize maybe different cities that have that feeling like Greenville and so forth and so on, to where it's more organic and it's not just a stadium with no one watching, you know, that the actual stadium for that minor league affiliate draws a crowd?
I could see it happening if it's like, hey, we're gonna cut down the minor leagues to a certain amount of teams, but we're gonna start paying guys more, because in the minor leagues you don't make a lot of money, you know, and what they say is you don't like it, play better, you know, because that's what drives you to kind of want to play in the big leagues. But if they're gonna cut the minor league teams up, then they gotta, I would assume they would have to pay them a little more, because there's gonna be less teams, there's more money to go somewhere else. So I guess that's the pull and tug from different areas is, do we keep all these minor league teams in the cities and have a bunch of guys playing, or do we cut the teams and pay them a little more? You know, that's a big controversial debate. You know, but
absolutely. And if you're just tuning in or listening on the podcast, we're being joined by San Francisco Giants pitcher Shaun Anderson. Shaun, another thing that I wanted to ask you a little bit about is basically during this whole situation, is the Players Association or is somebody, a representation, keeping you up to date? Do you feel like you're well informed on what's going on?
Yeah, I think they inform us a good amount. You know, whether it's through my agency, whether it's through the union, whether
shout out your agency, by the way.
Jet Sports Management, Hank Sargent, BB Abbott.
The plug, shout them out. Yeah, of course, without question.
Yeah. I mean, they've been like a family to me. So, but. They keep in touch with me. The union keeps in touch with me. You know, I talk to other players too, and we're all together on this. You know, and we're all bouncing ideas off each other. But like I was telling him at the end of the day, like we can all talk about it. But in my stance, like where I'm at, I just gotta. I mean, I wake up, I work out, get all my work in. Do we find out if we're playing or not? No. Okay. Next day. That's what I'm doing too. You know, so I'm not super involved in what's going on. I'm just. Like I said, staying ready, fresh. Waiting, staying ready, waiting. And
definitely.
So Marcus and myself, we were discussing on the last episode, basically Trevor Bauer went on a rant on social media, just literally going in.
Which was all facts, by the way. We couldn't say too much of that was based on opinion. It was all facts.
So Trevor Bauer goes on a rant on social media, and shout out to him because the thing that he's doing in Arizona with the pitchers and the baseball, we do that here in Florida on a regular basis. It's just not videotaped. So shout out to him because he's literally like, he's creating content that people are enjoying watching with his whole, what is it called? At Live Bats or something like that. So shout out to him. He's doing a good job. But Trevor Bauer went on a rant basically trying to explain that we want to play. Do you also have that same eagerness of wanting to play?
You can ask any baseball player, and they're all ready to play. You know, I mean, we're all ready. We're here. We're all trained. You can call us tomorrow. We're ready to play. You know, and that's kind of the stand that we're taking, and the kind of, I mean, you have to be ready. You know, you can't just sit down and do nothing. You know, I mean, it's still your job to be ready and to get going. You know, so
I definitely have a question since you spoke about content. We spoke about this before. How do you feel about mics on the field? Like being able to hear what everybody's saying.
Question.
Because the fans want to hear that spice, that the anger, you understand?
Yeah.
All the emotions that's going on the field. How do you feel about that?
And Marcus is being specific because he saw a video of Terry Collins going bananas when Noah Syndergaard threw at Chase Utley because Chase Utley broke Ruben Tejada's leg. So Marcus is speaking on a specific moment.
Right.
So,
because I'm like, if they had stuff like that regularly, me not necessarily being the biggest baseball guy, right? I would tune in. I want to see that.
I mean, it's definitely cool to watch, you know. I mean, they mic'd up some players during spring training, and, I mean, I was watching it too, you know. So, I mean, you get to talk to guys in right field, you get to talk to guys in left field if you're playing first base or whatnot, you know. So, It's cool to watch. I don't know as a pitching standpoint how that would be because you never really take off a pitch. If you're playing first base, you got a lot of time in between to talk to other people. But when you're on the mound, I mean, you're planning on setting up the guy. What's coming next? Like if the runners are on, like what's your plan?
Okay, so
there's so
more
much going on. Yeah,
he has less downtime.
Pitching stuff. I mean, maybe if you put it in like the bullpen and some of the guys in the bullpen or other starters that are on the bench.
That's what we should be asking you. We should be asking you, where does the most trash talk come from? The pen?
He's gonna say no comment.
I don't know. I mean, it depends what you decide, what you call trash talk. Because I mean, I got a lot of trash talk going on in my head when I'm throwing. But whether it's like you talking about like the other team or about like what do you mean? I don't know. I mean, I would say a lot of the time you're really focused on the game, and I know when I'm on the bench, I'm talking to other players about the situation and whatnot.
So check this out, right? I know that you're not like a bottom pitcher. You're a very well, you're a good pitcher, right? What is one of your favorite pitches?
Have you seen me pitch?
Yes.
Yeah?
Briefly.
Where at?
Briefly. I watched a few of the highlights.
I would say my fastball. I mean,
your fastball?
And that's something I've really been working on, just keeping consistency with that. And I mean, fastball sliders has always been my favorite. And like I said when I was watching a lot of off-season video, like what can I transform to make all my pitches my favorite? But at the end of the day, there's nothing like throwing a fastball by somebody.
Absolutely, especially when it's a fastball looking 0-2 and get the hell into the dugout. So Shaun, my question to you is basically going to be about this season. Regardless, in my opinion, this is just my opinion.
Yeah.
I think the season is going to be played in some way, shape, or form. If you guys do play a season, do you really do feel like that guys can go from 0 to 100 that quick to get it going? Because you got some guys that, they start off kind of slow and then they pick it up in the second half or whatever. But in this situation, there is no second half. Like, you got to be on 100 the minute it's time to play ball.
I think everything that's going on right now, I mean, guys are ready. Guys are facing live pitching, throwing against hitters, and I think they will give us like a pre-spring training, and whether usually spring training is about maybe a little less than a month normally, and guys are ready even when they get to spring training, and then when we get out of spring training, guys are ready for the first game, So I think if they give us like a spring training 2.0 like they've been talking about or whatnot, I think guys will be ready, and if not, they can adjust. If they expand the rosters, then we can have more pitchers if some guys aren't ready or whatnot. I feel like it's going to be a communication factor between you and the coaches.
I'm going to use one of your words, Marcus. I really do feel like the minute that Major League Baseball starts, regardless of how many games they play, it's going to be extremely spicy because the games are going to be so intense because there's so little games to be able to make the playoffs.
Right.
Like, seriously, like, you have to win every night because there's so little games that most likely they're going to end up playing.
So the pressure is going to be on from
jump.
Gate.
From jump, absolutely.
Was it? There was no agreement yet, right? Where did the Players Association come up with?
No, I mean, they went back and forth and talked about a bunch of different scenarios or whatever, but they still haven't been able to come to an agreement. So, the
I think they came up with something. It was public, so it's, you don't got to speak of anything. Mm-hmm. Just for the record, we don't want to speak of anything that's going on behind the scenes. Anything that's public, though, you have no issue with discussing, correct? Anything that's already out there.
Yeah.
Right.
See what you got.
Yeah, so what was it? What was it?
The owners were proposing, and this is something that Harry already agreed about. They agreed about prorated salaries back in March, and now the owners want to backtrack from that, and the Players Association's like, get the hell out of here. We're not doing that.
But we definitely could agree that you can fit 70 games.
Absolutely. Of course you could fit that many games. But at the end of the day, the players want to play. They don't care if it's 70 games, 48 games. They just want what they feel like is worth, and I have no problem with them doing that at all. I'm pretty sure Shaun's sentiment is exactly the same. Give me what I'm worth, and let's just go out there and let's make it happen. That's it.
Do you think this? Let's just say it was 70 games, right? Do you think those 70 games would be, the pressure would be definitely for sure on, in opposed to 114 games?
I'm actually going to bank off two things you said. One, you said, because to answer your question, you were saying, we haven't played baseball in so long that they're going to be tight games. I mean, there's been like teasing on the season, so it's like once baseball comes, you're like, I'm going to watch the baseball. I haven't seen baseball in forever, So I think it will be watched a lot more, and I think every game is going to mean a lot more to like perspective like that. And then to answer your question, you also got to look at it like the families, you know, whether it's however many games for however much salary, like those guys are risking that for their family too. If they have a son who is sick or whatever, they got to risk getting the virus or whatnot.
Of course.
They got to kind of
health
be
and
careful.
safety is the most important thing, without question.
Yeah.
But the health and safety part of it, I feel like that's something that can be met with common ground.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think it's more being held up because the owners are crying broke and the Players Association doesn't believe them. And this is myself and Marcus Mack speaking. This is not Shaun. This is myself and Marcus Mack speaking. The players feel like we agreed to a certain amount in March. We are able to talk about certain things being done off of what we agreed to. Let's make that happen. If not, there's no agreement. We just keep it moving. That's it. Right. So, in all actuality, I always am going to side on the side of the players, and I'm going to represent the players because I know them more. I don't have no relationship with damn owners. I don't know a sports owner in my life. So I'm always going to be for the players. I'm going to be pro-player. And what the players feel like and what the players think, they'll be ready to go out there and they'll prove that they're the best players in the world, put the product on the field, and make the fans will come back no matter what. They will watch.
I think that's my main thing because I think that the fans are pro-player as well. The fans don't care about the politics that the business owners got going on. And I'm going to definitely be pro-player because I'm pro-fan. You know what I'm saying? Because without the fans, there is no money. There's nothing.
Absolutely. So now I'm just going to get into this last question before we end up cutting off this episode with Shaun Anderson, San Francisco Giants pitcher. Shaun, the San Francisco Giants have a lot of potential talent, you know, upstart, young guys, yourself, Rodriguez, you know, Shamarja's, you know, the veteran, obviously, on the team. How do you feel? I mean, the season got cut short, but how did you feel going into this season? What you guys can do? Obviously, Dodgers are the cream of the crop in that division, winning 50 games. Like, that's insane. Like, you know what I'm saying? They won 50 games, but they still didn't win a championship. But anyway, they won 50 games. Shout out to them. But how did you feel about the Giants going into spring training?
I mean, we have so much experience on our team. You know, we have Longo, Buster, Samardzija. And we signed a bunch of guys too. And I mean, there's so much experience on that team, and they've really taken the young guys under their wing. You know, so. And I mean, like you said, the younger guys that we have too, they're ready to go. You know, so I mean, I felt good coming into the season. I felt like we had a really good base in teams. We got a brand new coaching staff. You know, Gabe Kepler and Andrew Bailey have been amazing coaches. You know, to me especially. You know, and they're so approachable. So I think the chemistry that we had, all of us together, we were ready to go to win the championship. You know, and. I mean, I was excited for it going into spring training the day I stepped foot up there. But obviously, hopefully, this can come back so we can win that championship.
Absolutely, those guys are they're going to be so anxious to get on the field and play. Like I said, these games are going to be so spicy, so intense. It's like they're not going to care anymore. Like
it's going to be all the games playoff game. That's how it's going to feel.
Yeah, it's going to be
the whole season just playoff
from day one without question. Well, guys, that's going to conclude episode 55 of the EAC Show. I'm Emilio A. Colon. That is Marcus Mack. This is Shaun Anderson, San Francisco Giants pitcher. We appreciate you guys. Click, like, subscribe on all podcast platforms and on YouTube. And we'll check you out episode 56 from sunny South Florida. Appreciate you, Shaun. Thank you so much, man.
Guys.
Oh, sugar honey iced tea. It's the EAC Show.